What's up, guys? Thank you for tuning in today's video. Today's topic is going to be on table changing and table selection. So we got a question on Instagram. When is the best time to switch tables? I'm going to give you my opinion on how I choose to continue playing at a table and when I think it's the best time to switch tables. So table selection is probably one of the most important aspects when playing poker for profit. Obviously, you guys have probably heard that if you are the 8th best player or the 9th best player in the world and you're playing against 7 or 8 other players better than you, then you are going to be the fish at the table, meaning you are the spot. You're the weakest player at the table. You're going to inevitably lose money in that game, even being one of the best players in the world. So this is why table selection is so important. So no matter your skill level, if you can find games to play in where your opponents are less skilled than you, then you can pretty much print money in the long run. Table selection will ultimately determine if you win or lose in sessions, or win and lose over your poker career. If you are an overall winning player, it will determine your actual win rate. Meaning if you are a pretty skilled player, but you're playing against players that are a little bit less skilled than you still will win money, but you would win a lot more money if you're playing against players who are a lot less skilled than you. So when deciding to move tables or switch tables, image is the number one consideration that I choose to work from when I'm trying to determine if I want to actually switch tables or not. When I say image, I don't necessarily mean a tight image or a loose maniac image. I'm specifically talking about winning or losing. If I have a winning image in the game, even if I'm losing, I will ultimately continue to play in that game. So you might ask, how can you have a winning image even though if you're losing in the game? So that could easily happen if I were to buy in, say, a 2-5 game, and then the very first hand I get dealt aces and I lose 2 kings, I lost $1,500. But let's say the very next hand after that, I get dealt aces against kings again, and I happen to win that hand. Now I have $3,000 in front of me. So within the 2-hand span, I might be down $400, but the simple fact is that I bought it for the max, and I'm going to have anywhere between $2,500 to $3,000 in front of me. To new players coming to the table throughout the session, it's going to look like I'm winning and I have a winning image. Playing when you have a winning image is extremely important. This is something that comes from Bart Hansen with Crush Live Poker. He's someone that I've been following for a very long time. You guys should definitely check out crushlivepoker.com. It's where I pretty much learned how to play poker for profit. When I stay in a game, when I have a winning image and I'm crushing the game, or it appears to be that I'm crushing the game, the decision points are much easier because opponents typically want to stay out of your way because they see a pile of chips in front of you and they see you constantly bringing in and scooping pots. When it comes to table selection, there are a few indicators that I look for when I'm trying to select a good game. Indicators of a good game is going to be a lot of laughing. You're going to see people with drinks in front of them. You're going to see most of your opponents at the table are not going to be looking down at their phones. It's not going to be a quiet game. People are going to be talking and, conversing. You're also going to not see a lot of players with glasses on, sunglasses or poker glasses. You aren't going to see a lot of players when you look around the table that have backpacks on the back of their seats. These are some good indicators that the game is probably going to be good. If you stand around and watch the game for maybe a minute or two, you can kind of see the size of the pots. If you see big pots, then it's a good indication that players are gambling, and that's going to be a good game that you want to get in. Now, how do you determine if the game isn't good when you're trying to table select, or if you're thinking about moving tables? It's kind of the same thing, but it's the opposite. The table's going to be extremely quiet. Everyone's going to be looking at their phones. People are going to have sunglasses on. You're going to look around the table and you're going to see 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 players with book bags on the back of their chairs. This is a great indicator that this game probably is not the best. You're not going to hear much laughing. You're not going to see much drinking. This is a good indication that this is not a good game to sit in. There are times that you may want to consider sitting in tougher games. That's going to be if you're just looking to improve, and so that when you do play with weaker players, you can increase your win rate even more. Another time that I may consider changing tables, even if I'm in a good game, is if I'm bum hunting, meaning that I'm looking to play with 1 or 2 specific players that I see that are on a different table and their seat comes open. This happens a lot when we're playing in a game, say 2-5, and then a player comes into the poker room that has a lot of money. They might go play 5-10 or 5-5. There's someone that we would love to play with because they're just much less experienced. They're a fun player. They like to gamble it up. And overall, that's going to increase our win rate. So even if we have a winning image in a game, we might consider changing tables to go play with a weaker opponent. Some other times you may want to consider moving tables is when you have a losing image. So even if the game is good, your opponents are going to play against you much tougher than they typically would because they smell blood in the water. They're going to make your decision points a lot tougher. So at that point, you might just want to move tables and start fresh, even if the game is a little bit tougher as far as the lineup goes, simply because your decision points are going to be easier and you don't have your opponents looking to put you in tougher spots. If I sit down at a poker table and I immediately know it's not a good game, I'll immediately ask for a table change and I'll walk around the room and see what tables that are available. And I look to play in the best game in the house, whether that be a PLO game or a no limit game. So those are some tips on table changing and table selection. If you guys have anything that you want to add on what you guys think is the best way to select tables, when to move tables, please go ahead and comment below. If you have any questions, you can always email me at thepokerpreneur@gmail.com. Please like and subscribe. And remember, guys, embrace the variance in life and in poker.